The night evil returned. It didn't come with thunder. It slipped into the Pride Lands like a shadow, and Kion felt it thirsty chill crawling up his spine as the stars flickered. The mark of the guard burned on his shoulder, not with warning, but with recognition. This enemy had been here before. Suddenly, Ono landed beside him. "The night is wrong," he whispered. "The stars are shifting." Fully appeared, her movements tense. The borders are quiet. Too quiet. Then, a single, chilling howl echoed across the plains. From the darkness, shadows began to move, confident and familiar. At their center stood a towering figure. "Well done," it spoke, its voice ancient. "You kept the Pride Lands alive in my absence." Kion stepped forward. "You were defeated." The figure smiled cruelly. "Evil is never defeated, only delayed." The Lion Guard sprang into action, but the shadows fought with a terrifying intelligence, feeding on fear. Kion unleashed the roar of the elders, but the darkness simply reformed. Thrown back against the stone, doubt began to creep in. But then, he heard it not a scream, but a song. A low hum of unity from the herds huddled behind them. They weren't running. They were trusting him. Kion stood again, his voice calm. "You came to break us," he said to the darkness. "But we stand together." This was not just a fight for survival. This was the Lion Guard's greatest challenge, and dawn was still very far away. The darkness did not lift with time. It thickened, pressing down on the Pride Lands until even breathing felt heavy. The moon vanished completely, swallowed as if it had never existed. And with it went the comfort of knowing where night ended and hope began. The evil had returned not just to fight, but to endure, to outlast courage itself. Kion stood at the front of Pride Rock, his body aching, his heart heavier than his wounds. Around him, the Lion Guard held their positions, exhausted but unyielding. Behind them, the Pride Lands waited in terrified silence. This was no longer a sudden attack. This was a siege of the soul. "You feel it, don't you?" The Dark Leader's voice echoed from the void, now closer, more intimate. "Fear grows quieter when it settles in. This land is learning to accept me." "No," Kion said firmly, though doubt flickered in his chest. "It's learning to resist you." The shadows moved again, but slower this time, more deliberate. They did not rush. They surrounded. Walls of darkness rose, cutting off stars, trapping the Pride Lands in a night without direction. Every path forward looked the same. Endless, hopeless, fully crouched low, muscles screaming in protest. "We can't keep fighting like this." "They're not attacking all at once. They're wearing us down." "They want us." "Tired," Ono said, his voice strained as he fought the thick air to stay aloft. "Confused." "Afraid?" Besht looked back at the herds huddled together, eyes filled with worry. "The little ones can't last much longer." "Neither can we." Bunga clenched his paws, forcing a grin that didn't quite hide the fear. "So, what's the plan when bravery starts running out?" Kion closed his eyes for a moment, listening. Not to the enemy. Not to fear. To the land. To the quiet strength beneath the terror. To the heartbeat standing behind him. "We don't fight the night," Kion said slowly. "We survive it." The shadows surged again, this time striking the edges of the herds, testing defenses. Panic rippled outward, threatening to break everything they had built. A cub cried out, stumbling toward the darkness. Without hesitation, Kion moved. He stepped forward, placing himself between the cub and the shadow, his body shaking but unbroken. One by one, the Lion Guard followed, forming a living wall. "Stay together!" Kion roared. "To not scatter!" The shadows recoiled slightly, hissing, frustrated. The leader emerged fully now, towering above them, eyes burning with fury. "You delay the inevitable." Bravery fades. Hope breaks. And when dawn never comes, what will you be then? Kion met its gaze, fear pounding in his chest, but his voice steady. "Still standing." The enemy screamed in rage, unleashing everything it had. The ground cracked violently. Winds howled. Shadows crashed into the guard like waves against stone. Best was nearly knocked off his feet. Fully stumbled. Ono fell hard, feathers scattering. Bunga was thrown aside, rolling painfully across the rock. "Kion!" they cried. For the first time, Kion felt the roar weaken completely. Not flicker, not strain. Fail. The mark of the guard dimmed, its glow barely visible. Power abandoned him when he needed it most. The leader laughed, victorious. "There, that is who you are, without strength." Kion dropped to one knee, breath ragged, vision blurring. Fear clawed at him, whispering that this was the end, that bravery had limits. Then he felt it, a paw on his shoulder. Then another. Fully stood beside him. Then Dono struggled back to his feet. Bunga limped forward, grinning through pain. "You don't get to decide when we're done," Bunga said shakily. "We're still here," Best added. Keono nodded. "And so is the Pride Lands." Kion looked behind him. Animals were standing. Not hiding. Not running. Zebras, elephants, birds, antelope, all pressed together. Eyes filled with fear, yes, but also resolve. They were holding the line without claws, without roars, without power. They believed. Kion stood slowly, pain burning through every muscle. "You're wrong," he said to the darkness. "I'm not brave because I'm strong. I'm strong because I'm not alone." The mark of the guard flared again, brighter than ever before, not fueled by anger, not by fear, but by unity. The roar returned, not as a blast, but as a rising chorus, echoed by thousands of voices standing together. Kion roared. The sound rolled across the Pride Lands like sunrise breaking through night. Light burst outward, tearing through shadows, ripping darkness apart. The leader screamed as cracks split its form, its power unraveling under the weight of shared courage. "No!" it shrieked. "This night was mine. This land is ours," Kion answered, with one final surge. The light consumed the darkness. The shadows dissolved into nothingness, screaming as they vanished. The sky cleared. Stars returned. The moon reappeared, pale but shining. Silence fell. Not the silence of fear, the silence of survival. Kion collapsed, exhausted, surrounded instantly by the Lion Guard and the Pride Lands themselves. Relief swept through the land like a breath finally released. Dawn crept over the horizon, gentle and golden. The night evil returned had tested everything and lost. The Pride Land stood scarred but alive. Stronger. Not because they were fearless, but because they stood together when fear tried to claim them. And the Lion Guard knew one truth would echo forever through the land. Darkness may return, but unity will always rise with the dawn.